what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves one speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all.
So hello everyone and welcome back to Breakthrough Conversations with Rhoda and Company. This is where we dive into powerful conversations that help you grow, glow, and lead with intention in your life and in your leadership. Today's episode is titled Scaling with Soul, Building a Brand, Business, and Legacy that Aligns. And listen, if you are an entrepreneur, a visionary, or someone sitting on a business dream trying to figure out how to grow your impact and your income, this conversation is especially for you because I'm excited to welcome Fredah Mainah, business growth strategist, brand builder, author, and transformational leadership voice. Fredah helps emerging and established businesses expand their reach, strengthen their brand presence, and optimize revenue in ways that are not only strategic but deeply aligned. She is the founder of Spiral with Fredah, where her work centers on self leadership, sustainable growth, and helping leaders build success from the inside out. Her approach blends business strategy, personal alignment, and transformational development because she believes real growth starts within. Fredah is also a published author, global speaker, and creator of frameworks that help leaders and entrepreneurs avoid burnout while building impactful, purpose driven businesses. So today we're talking brand growth, we're talking revenue strategy, we're talking self leadership, and what it really takes to build a business that thrives without losing yourself in the process. Fredah, welcome to Breakthrough Conversations.
Thank you so much, Rhoda. I am so excited to be here with you because
Yeah.
it's always so exciting to be with you.
Oh, it's such an awesome opportunity to have this time with you. And I'm so glad that our paths have crossed. And I believe in purpose. And I think that you reached out to me for a specific purpose, which was accomplished. But I believe that it's more to it. So I'm usually curious about building relationships and see
Yes,
where they go. So thank you for saying yes to being a guest today.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So
I'm
Freedom,
excited.
good. I want to start off by asking you to tell us about your journey. What led you into the work of helping businesses grow and optimize their brand and their revenue?
Well, you know how sometimes when you don't have a coach, you become your own coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started reading about, businesses because I did an MBA,
Mm-hmm.
just to put it out there. And I thought with an MBA, I was well to start
Mm-hmm.
a business and run it and do all the things that I was seeing successful entrepreneurs do. And then along the way, I realized that when you're in a new market, because I had just moved to the US in
Mm-hmm.
2010,
Okay.
and I realized even with an MBA, I needed another MBA
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to navigate an environment that has the economy that I had in
Mm-hmm.
reverse.
Right.
Because I came from an economy where the less debt you had, the more credible you were.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now here, it's the other way around.
It's the opposite.
Your credit score is based on how much debt you have and how you're using it and paying back. And so that was really new to me.
Right.
So I decided, okay, so I need to learn that. And then being an educator myself, I realized that I cannot be the only one
Mm-hmm.
who doesn't know how to navigate this industry.
Right.
So I talked to some business entrepreneurs in Michigan. That's where I landed first.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized even local entrepreneurs did not know how to navigate this
Right.
environment. And so that gave me the confidence to learn even more
Mm-hmm.
so that I could share with other entrepreneurs because I realized it wasn't just me.
Right.
So that's what got me into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took my MBA and put it aside,
Mm-hmm.
and then became just a, what would you call, not even a rookie, but someone who doesn't know nothing.
Right, right.
And so I started from there. I started looking for coaches. I started looking for books. I attended seminars. I
Mm-hmm.
listened to videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I registered a business
Mm-hmm.
and started working from there so that whatever I was learning, I was practicing. But
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, I started this journey from a place of relocating from a different style to
Yeah.
a different style. And I had to go back to
Mm-hmm.
school of hard knocks
Right.
to learn how to become an entrepreneur in America.
In America. So you were juggling a lot
Yes,
of change at once.
yes,
You have to learn a whole new culture and the surroundings and the culture and the norms. And you had to learn how to even be an entrepreneur in this country. And you
right.
said you had to go back to like the bare basics. We call that in the world of OD, we call that you are consciously incompetent, meaning that you are aware that you don't know,
Yeah.
but you don't know. So,
Yes.
but kudos to you, Fredah, for going and like diving in and first of all for having that awareness because a
Yes.
lot of people don't. It's not assumed that people understand that they need to learn how to build and be successful in a whole new environment. So you had that awareness, but kudos to you for not being intimidated by it and you dove in there and learned and you're sharing what you learned.
Thank you.
So that is, I call it mission work. So you're doing a good
Uh,
work. Yeah. So
Thank you.
you work with both emerging and established businesses. What are the biggest differences you see in their growth challenges?
Well, so the emerging ones are like me when I came to the US. They don't know, and
Right.
then some of them don't even know what they don't know.
Right.
So I have a platform and I have some questions that I take them through, and you have gone through that,
Yes.
where I ask them certain questions to establish what they know and what they do not know. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are saying, take them on a journey of becoming incompetent to
Mm-hmm.
somewhere where I can take them to conscious
Right.
incompetence.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once I do that, then now we can, it's like getting to a crossroad. And now it's like, okay, so which journey do I take them on?
Yes.
Because I also found that emerging, entrepreneurs have some personal values that they're very passionate about,
Right.
but they want to bring those same values to the business,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know how.
Right.
And so when they start the business, they come up with a mission, they come up with a vision, they come up with some values.
Mm-hmm.
And then along the way, they realize, oh, my organization values and my values are.
They're not aligned.
And then when they're not aligned, then they start feeling like, oh, did I start the wrong business? Or
Mm-hmm.
is it me who's doing something wrong? And I
Mm-hmm.
have to help them align those two.
Okay.
Because when your personal business, when your personal values and your organization values as a solopreneur or as a small organization, if they're not aligned, you're going to start feeling burnout. And
Yeah.
you're not burning out because you're working too hard,
Right.
but because you're disconnected from your personal
Mm-hmm.
values.
So true.
You're disconnected from your true essence. Like
Mm-hmm.
you say, mission, you're
Yes.
disconnected from your mission.
Yes. Yes.
Now, on the other hand, when I find established organizations, now that's where actually even the bigger challenge is,
Mm-hmm.
because they are now already set in
Yes.
their values, in their ways,
Mm-hmm.
and then the organization is also going in a direction that they set it to go without realizing
Mm-hmm.
they were creating that divergence.
Yes.
And now, when it comes to now helping them, I have to start from the person, the leader.
Mm-hmm.
And once I make the leader aligned, then together we take the journey they wanted at the beginning to take and align it by one major question I always ask.
Mm-hmm.
What is your number one goal?
Yes.
Because once you understand what your number one goal is, it helps you understand, why did I even create this organization? And now you can start to see, oh, I disaligned myself because I forgot the reason. I forgot the passion. I forgot the mission.
Yep.
And now I help established businesses bridge that gap.
So you take them back to their why, back
Yes,
to their purpose. That's
exactly.
interesting. That makes sense. And I can see how an established company working with them breeds a whole different set of challenges, because like you
Yes,
said, they're set in their ways, they're more mature in the business. So I can see how they can be more, not necessarily more or less, but different, a different type of challenge.
right, right.
Tell us about your spiral with Fredah. What inspired the creation of that?
Now that one, this creation of it takes me back to, wow, oh my goodness. Way back when I was young, I grew up on a very little farm, and I loved the farm. I loved nature. I still love nature. And one thing I observed is the way growth happens with the
Okay.
seasons. So it's never linear, it's
Right.
always spiraling.
Yes.
This season, this plant might do better. The same plant or the same seed might do worse in a certain season. And I started to reflect and realize that it was happening to me as well.
Right.
There were certain seasons that didn't bring out the best of me. And so I realized then there must be something in nature that informs that.
Right.
Then I went to college and I became a teacher and started to see that even my students were the same. You know, they would start at a certain grade and then we would go on that journey of growth,
Right.
but we're just adding knowledge and skills to the same foundation.
Right.
And so I started calling it spiral without even knowing what I was doing.
Right.
And then I came to the US and now I'm teaching at this, you know, public university, and I'm noticing the same thing.
Right.
But the other thing I noticed was there was a difference between my students on the continent and the students on this continent. So I noticed that my students that were more connected to nature, their learning was still spiral. But the ones who were not so connected to nature, they thought learning was linear. And so what they wanted from me was my GPA. I need a grade. I need an A. And my question was, did you learn what I was teaching?
Right. Right.
And did you do the portfolio I asked you to do? No, I want my grade. I want my grade. And it's like, okay, let's hold it right there.
Right.
First and foremost, you're not coming to my class just for a grade. You're coming to my class to learn a skill, because the world is not about grades.
Right.
It's about skills. And so I realized I had half the class, you know, most of the times on the spiral and half the class on the linear.
Right.
And I was struggling with that as an educator because I want my class to feel everyone to feel included. And I want my class, all of them, to come out with something. So I went to the Faculty Development Center and I told them I wanted to design a different pedagogy for me and for my class, because I was struggling as an educator to serve my class, to serve my students. So they gave me permission, they gave me some funding. And so I developed a pedagogy. And because of all those stories I'm telling you, I called it the spiral reflective pedagogy.
Wow.
And there was my spiral formalized into the academy.
Wow.
So the S is always about self. What do you know about yourself?
Right.
And then the P is about responsibility. I had demonstrated that instead of complaining about, oh, my students, oh, my pedagogy, I created something. So I took personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility. Okay.
And then The I was inner alignment. Like I was telling you about organizations. When there's
Yes.
no inner alignment, we
Mm-hmm.
lose a lot of energy because we are
Yes.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the spiral, you might think you're not even learning, because if you're climbing a mountain in a spiral way, you will be seeing almost the same view and
Yes.
thinking that you're not moving, but there
Mm,
is motion.
right.
It's the same thing to pedagogy. If I am using a certain pedagogy for
Mm-hmm.
instruction and delivery, and it is a pedagogy that the students are not, kind of feeling it,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to ensure that the pedagogy and the student match so that learning becomes smooth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, that inner alignment was not just for the classroom, it was for me, it was for my
Mm-hmm.
students. So that inner alignment was important.
Mm-hmm.
Then the R was about boundaries. Even as an educator, I can't teach them everything in the world.
Right.
So even in my curriculum, I have to have a syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
So that syllabus for me was my boundary,
Right.
that this is how, where I'm, this is the scope
Mm-hmm.
that, and this is where we are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you personalize it, it's just like the way we always set boundaries that are healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're thinking about the A, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it is, the A is action.
Right.
And I always ask whether it is the entrepreneurs that I am supporting to always take action. And then my students, within the syllabus, I will embed activities and action for them to take.
Yes.
But it helps if that action is coming from an inspired place or
Mm-hmm.
from an awareness place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you own the action.
Right.
Then you're not feeling like someone is imposing the action on you.
Yeah. You're more vested. Mm-hmm.
You get more vested, you're right. And then L, the most important of all, especially when I'm doing organizations
Mm-hmm.
and leadership and stuff, legacy. What
Legacy.
do you want to be known for?
Yay.
What do you want to leave behind? You
I
know?
love legacy is one of my favorite words. I have a book that I'm getting ready to write around legacy leadership, and I'm rolling out a legacy leadership lab for leadership development for leaders to be more intentional about thinking about what is your leadership style, how are people experiencing you, and what do they say about you when you're not around? What do you
Right.
want your legacy to be? I love that framework so that you were able to take that and use it for the students, but also now adapt it and use it for businesses.
Yes. I
Mm-hmm.
now even coach and certify other coaches to
Mm-hmm.
use that spiral.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm working on improving it so that I can license it to
Mm-hmm.
organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Frida, a lot of entrepreneurs, they struggle to monetize their brilliance. Why does that happen?
Well, I think it's because, number one, when you're passionate and you love something, sometimes you want to hold on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking that if you put it into the market, then it's going to be diluted.
Mm.
And so there are many people who have what they know, but they've never monetized it because it's like they think monetizing it will pollute it or
Right.
water it down. Now, the other thing that I have found is
Mm-hmm.
that most entrepreneurs struggle with monetizing because it's a very authentic thing that they have created.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to pricing it, they look at it and it's like, no, I can't price it the way the market is pricing it. They're pricing it so low and I want to price it high.
Mm-hmm.
And then on their pricing strategy, they end up, instead of increasing it, they end up
Mm-hmm.
lowering it.
Yes.
And once they lower the price so that they can match with the
Mm.
market, they feel as if they are stripping themselves of some value.
Oh, the value, right.
And so the passion, the attachment, the connection with it, just gets lost
Mm-hmm.
and they end up not being able to monetize it.
I see. I see.
Thirdly, what I have also found is that the market is also not ready for some of these very, very authentic products
Yes.
because they are used to generic products. And so I think we need to start re-educating the market about value-driven products
Yes.
so that we are not just selling generic products.
Right.
Yes.
Those are great insights, and I can relate to those because I dabble in entrepreneurship and I struggle with charging people. For years, I wrote resumes for free, and then I started a business, got an LLC, and I found myself when people would ask me how much, most of the time, oh, don't worry about it this time. Oh, just pay it forward. It was like
Right.
I was scared to charge for it, but I see what you're saying when you're so close to it. And I recently did this with a pilot for my Leadership Legacy Lab. Originally, I was charging for the pilot, lower price than I would charge normally when it's not a pilot, but charging nonetheless. And I didn't get any interest. And so when I said, okay, I'm just going to reach out to people and say, will you just participate? You don't have to pay, but can you commit the time it takes? And then all of a sudden I got people. But I'm not going to do that again because it's credible, valuable information that I'm going to be sharing. And to the point you just made, we should educate the market instead of downsizing ourselves to meet the market. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
great
Yes.
points. What
Thank you.
are some common revenue leaks you see in businesses?
Well, number one, small business owners, especially solopreneurs, they get this passion and they want to start a business. They register the business, but they don't take the time to understand what a strategic plan is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take the time to understand how to run a business professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, they come in and it's like opening a corner store in your neighborhood. And number one, you just pick generic products that don't even resonate with you and
Mm-hmm.
put them in there on the shelves.
Right.
And then you don't even label them.
Wow.
So someone comes in,
They don't know.
they can see beautiful products, but they don't even know what it is.
Right.
And then they ask you, what is this? And it's like, let me check on the manuscript.
Right.
And then what's the price of this one? You can have it for free today, but
Right.
make sure you tell your neighbor about it. So right there, on the product differentiation, money is leaking. On the product shelving,
Mm-hmm.
money is leaking.
Mm-hmm.
On the communication about the benefits of that
Mm-hmm.
particular product, money is
It's
leaking.
leaking. Right.
So I could tell you many places where the money is leaking right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because when you start a business and you don't know how to position yourself,
Right.
your value before the market,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even know what you sell. That's a problem right there.
Right.
And therefore, when I talk to business owners, I want to first of all speak to the owner before I speak to the business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the problem your business solves?
Yes.
Can you match the
Mm-hmm.
problem, the people who have that problem, with
Right.
your solution?
Right.
Do you have a message that says exactly that?
Mm-hmm.
That this is me, these are my values, this is the problem I solve to this audience because of these benefits, and because I believe in it,
Mm-hmm.
give me a call. I'll
Yes.
prove it to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So have you seen leaders sabotage their own growth unintentionally? And if so,
And
how?
unintentionally, we live this life so unintentionally, so
Mm-hmm.
unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people keep feeling life is happening to me.
Right.
And that is why, again, I have the spiral. So
Mm-hmm.
that once I speak to the owner of the business
Mm-hmm.
and make sure they're not sabotaging themselves and their business
Mm-hmm.
and they are aligned, Then they stop leaking money, they stop
Right.
sabotaging themselves because everything gets focused
Mm-hmm.
onto the main mission, onto the main goal, onto the main reason why they started the business,
Right.
and onto the main reason of who they are. Because all we do is express ourselves and give our gifts to the
Mm-hmm.
world. But
Right.
as you're giving your gifts to the world, if you're doing it unconsciously, it's like, throwing all these gifts all over the place, or like the corner store we were talking about. You
Right.
heap them there as if it is a dumping,
Mm-hmm.
dumping your gifts.
Right.
But if you love your gifts, you shelve them nicely, you
Mhm.
label them nicely, and at the door, you tell everybody what you do. These
Right.
days, it's not about a business card.
Right.
If you're a small business owner, your business card is not going to help you.
Mm. Mm-mm.
No. But if
No.
you can have somewhere, even if it is on social media, where you tell people, I can prove to you that this is the problem in the world that I solve, and this is how I solve it, and here are the benefits of asking me to help you solve that problem.
Yeah, that's clear.
That
Even,
is very clear.
yeah, like I just think everything in life requires intentionality.
Right.
Everything. And
Everything.
then even to the point you just made, even in the workplace, before I start on an initiative or effort, the very first question I ask is what problem are we trying to solve?
Right.
So it even applies in almost every situation too. So
Exactly.
yes, that's so
Yeah.
true.
And when we live life from knowing that whatever challenge comes into our life is a problem we
Mhm.
can solve,
Solve. Hmm.
then we don't feel overwhelmed.
Right.
Because if you look at a problem as if it is a predicament, then you don't know how to solve and you get
Right.
overwhelmed and you're
Right.
scared. But if you look at a problem, then you ask yourself, what is the number one task I
Mhm.
can take towards solving this problem?
Yes.
What is the next thing I can do?
Yes.
And you just need to take one step.
One step.
And
Mhm.
before you know it, the next step unfolds and you solve the problem.
Yes.
That's
That's
why most people who solve world problems go Eureka,
yes.
because they didn't know how to solve the problem anyways.
They just took
But
one step.
that
Right.
took that one little step.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, they solved the problem and it is like, aha,
Yes.
you know?
That is so true.
Yeah.
So Frida, I know you're also a published author. What's the title of your book and what inspired it?
I have a number of books.
Mm-hmm.
So, one book that I love the most,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a mother who has children and then you have a
Right.
favorite. I don't want to play favorites, but it's books, so I'll play
Right.
favorites. So, there's one book I wrote called Everyday Philosophy for the Common Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I lay out the spiral indirectly
Okay.
without unpacking everything. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want to give away all the beans, right? So
Right.
on that book, I give people permission to be their own philosophers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to ask themselves the questions you could ask when you're solving a problem,
Right.
and then to become your own coach,
Mm-hmm.
and then to be to have trust and faith in yourself,
Right.
so that whatever else you do out there is stemming from that place of confidence. I am, I know what I stand for, I know what my values are, I know why I am who I am. And so I can go out there in the world and solve problems. And if anybody says something negative, it won't stick
Right.
because I already know who I am.
I know who I am. Right.
I know my values, I
Yes.
know my intentions. So it don't matter.
Yes.
My other book is Gain Financial Freedom with Frida.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that one, that's why it came second, is because I pulled it out so that I can do a second edition of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because all the strategies of running a business and becoming an entrepreneur that I share there, some of them have been overtaken by technology. Technology is
Right.
moving so fast.
AI
So,
and yes.
right. So I'm interviewing people, and I would love for volunteers from your audience to
Yes.
come so that I interview them for my second edition of my book.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, I share with them the strategies that are already working, and then ask them for input
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
they are in an industry that I am not.
Right.
But I want the book to cover as many
And
industries as
diverse.
possible,
Mm-hmm. I
very
see.
diverse.
Yes.
Yes, I'm talking to people globally because I
Mm-hmm.
want to see the whole, the whole picture.
Yes.
And so I really would love some volunteers.
Right. So
Yeah.
for the listening audience, Fredah is doing a second edition to one of her books, Gain Financial Freedom with Fredah. And she's looking for volunteers to interview so that she can enhance this book, the second edition, and get current practices and best practices acknowledged in the book. I was interviewed and I thought I didn't know anything. I was like, okay, I'm willing to talk to you, but I don't know much. But I knew more than I thought I knew. And that's how we connected. And that was a great experience. So I'm happy that we did that. So Fredah, where can people find you and where can they find your books?
Thank you. So I will do the classical way of saying, if you spell my name correctly
Right.
on LinkedIn, you will find me.
Mm-hmm.
If you spell my name correctly on Google, you will find me.
Yes.
But this is where I want you to find me when you go to Google. When you
Mm-hmm.
put in my name, and the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that comes up is Spiral with Fredah,
Mm-hmm.
go there.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
Spiral with Fredah, go there. If
Okay.
you're looking for videos that I have shared,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, my channel
Right.
will be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For my books, go to Amazon, type my name just the way it is. You'll
And
find
they'll
my
come up.
books
Mm-hmm.
and you can select. And then look out soon for Gain Financial, Intelligence with Fredah. I'll put it back on Amazon.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Fredah. Before we end and close, I do want to do a rapid fire round. I have 3 questions I'm going to ask you. The
Okay.
first one is one word that describes your entrepreneurship leadership style.
Alignment.
Alignment. Love it. And then the best business advice you've ever received.
The best business advice I received was by Steve Covey. I read his books. And on the eighth habit is when I clicked when he said, start with the end in mind.
Mind. Yes.
And that's what I was saying about small businesses. They
Yes.
don't start with the end in mind. They're
Right.
just thinking, let me go to the market and make some money on this product. Start with the end in
And in
mind.
mind. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That keeps you aligned to your why. Yep.
Yes.
So the third question is a brand or a business leader you admire and why?
It's still going to be Steve Covey now that he's the one who taught me start with the end in mind. And then
That's,
because he was a speaker and he
yeah.
was also a published author like me, and so he started this whole empire
Yes.
on just one book and one course.
Yes.
And now he's training, empire.
And he has a legacy.
He
Everyone
now
knows.
has a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
His son is continuing the business.
Yes.
Oh, and I'm telling you, it is still about the
Yes.
habits of successful people.
Yeah, it
Yes,
doesn't age. It's still applicable today. Well,
exactly.
Fredah, this conversation, I might have to have you back for part 2. This conversation has been very grounding and expansive. So thank you so much. I appreciate how you helped us connect the dots between business and leadership because it's so often that people think that scaling is just strategy when in reality it's also alignment, clarity, and courage.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your frameworks, and your heart for helping leaders and entrepreneurs build businesses that are both profitable and purposeful. And
Right.
to our listeners, if today's episode inspired you to think differently about your brand, your business, or your next level, be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and stay connected with us for more breakthrough conversations. Until next time, Keep growing, keep aligning, and remember your breakthrough begins here. Thank you for listening.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves when speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story? A kick-ass mom and 40 under 40. It's soccer practice in your high heel glory. Yeah, you do it all.